Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is DividableHalo HD, and today I am joined by iSpartanFilms from the
How's it going?
UNR. I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Alright, so today in this interview, we're interviewing iSpartanFilms, obviously, and we're going to talk about a lot of things that happened with him in the past, a lot of his media, and basically what's going on in UNR, considering that he is one of, like, the #1 media source for UNR, I believe.
I'm flattered.
Alright, so when did you first join the Halocline community?
I would say probably in 2011, 2012, back on Halo Reach. My first most notable clan, so to speak, I guess would be the UFA, which I think was in your last interview video with Kingswell 28, and I sort of helped him out with media.
Alright, was your media that great at the time?
It was not. I think that we all sort of start out experimenting with Movie Maker. I know that Movie Maker is often the platform of choice for media with clans. It's a good program. It works, gets the job done, but obviously not the best.
All right. So during your that time that you were in UFA, right? What did you basically do? Was there any like thing else besides media that you were doing in the clan, like war events or anything?
I was promoted to one of the higher command positions. I can't remember for the life of me which one it was. But I was pretty close with Kingswell. We were really good friends. And I helped with a lot of command decisions, a lot of political stuff, foreign relations, that kind of thing.
All right. So what prompted you to leave the UFA?
There were a lot of people, like I think that he said in his interview that I had pretty good bonds with a great majority of the people in his clan. And that was true. And I got to hear a lot of opinions from both sides about Kingswell's leadership. And I sort of agreed with the people that thought that he wasn't doing the best job possible. And so me and one of my other closer, I guess, fellow clanmates named Sharphawk, we left. Sharphawk was part of Phoenix team, which was sort of like the Secret Service detail equivalent of, I guess, like a personal security thing for Kingswell. So we and the Phoenix team, which was about 12 people, started rallying people to leave to contest Kingswell.
So was this more or less like a rebellion?
I wouldn't say rebellion, more of a, I don't know, self-reform initiative. We didn't hate Kingswell. No one hated Kingswell. We just didn't agree with his leadership. So I guess we took things into our own hands and did things without him.
All right. So basically, what? Okay, sorry. Say. So you were basically you guys had your own leadership. Did you guys basically form a clan, or were you just using the same name, UFA?
We didn't use the same name. We sort of just kept the Phoenix team name. We didn't associate ourselves with the UFA anymore until we felt that we would be ready to go back to Kingswell.
All right. So what happened during the times of Phoenix team? Was there anything else, or did you guys just basically play around for a while?
A lot of it was sort of unprofessional stuff. And unfortunately, I don't actually remember if I don't think we ever got back to working with Kingswell again because he was already starting other stuff with sort of a new generation of clans with Imperium.
All right. So what basically have you done after Phoenix team?
After Phoenix Team, I started looking around for other Halo clans with Halo 4 coming around, and I found the United Forces, which was formerly known as the USOH, United Soldiers of Honor. And so I applied on their website, and that was during the Srg War, and I think the UUF War as well.
All right. So what occurred during like these wars? Do you know any like reason why these wars were like sparked?
I know that there was a huge coalition against the UUF that I believe Noble Killer was a part of in leading that coalition. And I was just sort of just another recruit to help out in the battle until I came forward with media. and then I sort of got more attention from Noble, and we helped create a little bit of propaganda and a little bit of recruiting, I guess, to sort of build the coalition's forces against the UUF.
All right. Was your media better this time in UF?
At that point, I actually just started using Premiere on my own personal channel, but I was still using Movie Maker because that was what I was more comfortable with at the time.
All right. So, how long did you stay in the United Forces?
I've actually been in the United Forces for almost 2 years, on and off. There was a 2 or 3 month period where I was actually blacklisted because of a sort of falling out that Noble and I had right as the USOH became the newly reformed UF.
All right. So, was there anything else, big events that occurred in the United Forces for you?
There was definitely the Srg War. SRG, I'm not sure how much you know about them, but they were... How to describe SRG? They were definitely not the most logically capable clan. They simply refused to agree with basic logic, and we created a very long evidence video that essentially ended the war. We had recordings, we had video of their maps. We essentially stopped them in their tracks using media, which was a great, I would consider it one of my greatest accomplishments.
All right. So, what happened basically after you were done with United Forces?
Well, there was a time within the last few months or so that Noble sort of started realizing that the UF was losing a lot of its upper governmental structure and leadership. If you go to the UF website, which is unitedforcesmilitary.weebly.com, and you go to government, you can look at some of the positions that are supposed to be filled. Not all of them are actually filled, and that was one of the biggest problems. So when we were doing the UFNN videos, the most recent one on that channel, which is still the most recent one because anything hasn't been uploaded, is one about sort of a reform period. I don't remember what it was called. I think it was like a martial law. I think that's what he called it. Reform type of period, which was essentially meant for the president to be able to override the Constitution, parts of the Constitution, I guess, and promote whoever he saw fit into government and upper leadership positions.
Now, did you agree with this?
I didn't, which is one reason why I sort of became a little bit more distant with Noble. Noble tends to not be, I guess, as friendly to people that disagree with his opinions.
All right. What were the other reasons that it prompted you to leave the United Forces?
A lot of the media stuff was I didn't have very much control over it. I essentially just made the UFNN possible. I made it look the way it did. I delivered it the way it was delivered. But a lot of the ways that Noble... I don't know how to describe it. I guess I would just say the way he made me work, the way that he wanted me to work and upload videos and produce them as quickly as he wanted them just wasn't possible with, of course, real life schedule, work and school. So that just wasn't working for me, and I was eventually getting just tired of that. And every time I expressed that frustration to Noble, it made us grow further apart.
All right. So, of course, you did leave the United Forces. What then occurred after that advance for you?
I was clanless for a while, just playing Halo just for Halo, just with my friends, just to hang out. And then I was contacted actually by a YouTube message from Ling Killer, or Will, who is the president of the United Nations Republic. And he contacted me about other people that might be able to work on media. And I said, I could do that because I'm clanless and it would be fun to get back into the community. So we talked on Skype for a while, and I was just like, you know what, I'm going to make an intro just to see if this is something that you would like. So I made an intro, and he liked it, and I now have the gig that I have now.
All right. So I'm going to ask you about this intro right now. The intro that the UNR currently has, did you make that?
I did, yes.
All right. So what basically inspired, or how did you learn to do an intro?
I've always, on my personal channel, SpartanFilms, I've always liked, I guess I've always sort of had a fascination, I guess, with graphic design and animation, especially 2D animation. If you look at my channel, essentially all of my graphics are 2D animated, because they're just simple and I think they're clean looking. And so that's what really inspired me to create the designs that I have, especially with the UNR.
All right, so I forgot to ask you, but when did you first create your YouTube channel?
I first created it in 2011, I think. It was a long time ago.
So, the name Noble Spartan Films, was it originally for the United Forces, considering Noble Killer?
It was not, no, it's just a random name.
Alright, so what did you first started uploading to the channel?
I uploaded Ninja Warrior videos I think that was when I was in middle school. They are real treasures. They were nothing to sneeze about.
Alright, now these series, it's the most popular series on your channel. Now, what is basically the series?
Ninja Warrior is based on, Spartan Ninja Warrior is my current version of it now. It's gone through many generations. It's based on a show on NBC, which is a TV channel, called American Ninja Warrior, which is itself based on a Japanese show, which is called Sasuke, which is basically a very difficult obstacle course that several people try to complete, and only 4 people have done it in the world so far.
Alright, now, your well-known media, as it is right now, is basically UNR Prime, I believe, right?
Yeah, UNR Prime.
Now, how did you, is there any, templates that you used for, your, for making UNR Prime? Because I was talking to, I believe, Legion's Ascent and, other people, and they said that, basically, there was, a lot of templates that was being used in UNR Prime. Is that true?
That is not true. I can actually attest to the fact that the designs for Prime have gone through several iterations and versions, and they were all completely original.
Alright, so what inspired, or did Ling ask you to create a UNR Prime, or did you come up with the idea by yourself?
We talked about my history in the UF, and I think in a conversation one day we're just like, what if we did something like the UFNN where we just update videos, we do update videos to update people on what's happening with the clan and around the community, which is obviously not an original idea because there were obviously other clans even back to Reach when people updated with sort of news type ideas, so we just overhauled that into something really professional. So that's how that idea of Prime came along.
Now, do you believe UNR Prime is one of the best media sources ever made?
I wouldn't say the best. You always have to go back to one of the classics with General JB and his type of media. I would definitely say that is a very high standard to beat. But I would definitely say that it's a high quality show.
All right. Is there anything new that you are going to release in the future for media?
Currently in the UNR, we're working on a new series called Community Tonight, where we focus on potentially controversial topics in the clan community and the gaming community. Sort of like an interview series, kind of like what we're doing now, except we let people with often opposing opinions debate a topic.
All right. Now, currently, as it stands, do you believe we're going to talk about the community, how it is? Now, you were in the community from 2000 and what year?
I believe 2012.
All right. Now, you seen the community at its prime, I believe, in 2012, right?
Yeah, that was sort of when I was just getting into it.
All right. Now, have you seen has it been declining since then, do you believe?
Since 2012,
Yes. Like
I would definitely say that the Reach era was definitely the strong side. As soon as Halo 4 came along, and now Master Chief Collection, it's definitely not as strong as it was.
All right. So, what is like basically the problems that the community suffers for right now that you believe?
I definitely think that as far as Master Chief Collection is concerned, the lack of join and progress is one of the main things. Like that makes raids essentially impossible, and just the general brokenness of it, and especially with Halo 4, just the gameplay, I thought, and several features like Zoom. Zoom was just like such a basic thing in Forge, and just things like that 343 is consistently doing that is not making Halo the same quality as it used to be. I think that is really weakening the morale of everybody in general.
All right. So I've also discussed many times with like countless people, and they claim that basically one of the downfalls to why the Halo clan community is declining is the lack of media. And since you basically produce one of the best medias, do you believe that this is true?
Oh yeah, definitely. Media is one of the most powerful tools that any clan can have. Media is like your presence, because like you can look at the United Forces, for example. A video hasn't been uploaded since that martial law video, and people have been asking me and Noble and posting comments if the UF is even still around. That's just how powerful media is.
All right. So is there any tips you could give to people that are like just creating their clan or current clans that they have right now on like how they could like improve their media?
I would just say don't give up and persevere, and you have to be willing to learn new things. You can't just expect to learn a program like Premiere, which is what I use, or After Effects in like a night. You have to be able to stick with it and find ways to learn the program.
All right. So we're gonna talk about basically the UNR CENTCOM panel. Now, you probably are not like you're not one of the lead developers. You're more of a media guy, right?
Yes.
So who leads the UNR's basically CENTCOM panel, or like the main like person who's in charge of it?
That would be Seth and Matt. They are the web dev team.
All right. So do you want to like explain what basically the CENTCOM panel is to some of our viewers? Because during UNR Prime, a lot of people understood it a bit, but they didn't understand it that much.
Well, during that Prime episode, that was like our first public announcement, so we weren't completely ready to announce everything. But what I can tell you is that Prime is sort of just like a live database and like domestic news forum type of thing for all of the UNR's members. And it's a really high-tech thing. I mean, commanding officers in the future will be able to send orders directly to members' phones, and that's just one of the most important features that we're currently working on right now. And there's going to be a lot more planned in the future that I don't even know about, because that's, like I said, media is my thing, not programming and that. But there's just so much potential for it. I can't even talk about it all.
All right. Now, as it stands right now, is UNR one of your best clans you've ever been in?
I could definitely say so, yes.
All right. So is there like any other media besides yours that you admire?
I'm really not that familiar with any other current media. I've looked at UFF before, and they definitely liked to, I don't want to say plagiarize, but they took heavy inspiration, I guess. I mean, they had good videos, but I would definitely say they took a little bit too much inspiration. But other than that, definitely General JB.
All right. Now, as it stands as the current community, is there basically there's a lot of games, and you were already talking about like 343 Industries and how basically the Halo franchise was a bit ruined, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yes.
Now, currently the UNR is on Halo MCC, but do you believe that it's a right move for the UNR to do that?
To do what?
To move or to be only on the MCC?
Yes, I think so. Given the current state, well, given the previous state of the Halo 4 community, I definitely didn't see much potential for it anymore. It had potential, but 343 did not completely capitalize on that. So I definitely say Master Chief Collection is the best place to be for now. We'll see how it goes in the future, but definitely at launch in November, it was definitely a very, very shaky call.
All right. Is there anything else you would like to cover about your history?
Nothing really much. I think we covered everything, really. There's not really much else to add.
All right. So I'm going to ask you probably the last question, since I usually ask this question to everybody. And that is, how do you believe that we can grow the Halo Clan community?
Originality and innovation. Those are the biggest things that make anything in today's world successful and popular, and to be adopted by the general public. And what I mean by that is creating your own ideas that not many people have seen before. You can create a recruitment video with pictures in Movie Maker, but that's not going to get as much attention as a live action recruitment video with voice acting or something like that. Just the more you put into it, I think the more you're going to get out of it. And innovation is sort of the same thing, where we have CENTCOM in the UNR. No one else has done that as far as I'm concerned. A system that goes that in depth into clan management is just something that I think the community needs more of.
All right. So is there anything else you'd like to add to this interview?
I think that's pretty much it. Just stay original. I mean, there's nothing wrong with inspiration. Obviously, just don't get too heavy with it. But I would definitely say just stay original and be innovative.
All right. I'd like to thank you, iSpartanFilms, for coming out on this interview.
Thank you for having me.
It's a real pleasure to hear about all your media, and basically you're one of the most successful media people in the community as it stands right now. That's in my opinion.
Well, thank you.
Alright guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button. It helps me out a lot and basically shows your support for iSpartanFilms and the UNR. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment down in the description below. I believe you may respond to some of them.
I will definitely be responding to some comments, and also selfless advertising. Check out my channel, youtube.com/NobleSpartanFilms.
Alright. Anyways guys, I'll talk to you guys all later. Bye.